In today's episode, we look at one of the most devastating serial killing cases in US history. Dennis Rader, known as BTK bind, torture, kill, was a man who seemed to lead a double life. Let's dive into his motivations, heinous crimes, and the finale of this horrific story. Dennis Rader was born on March 9, 1945 in Pekin, Kansas. He grew up in an ordinary family, but already in childhood he showed cruelty. He was teased at school, and he, in return, felt pleasure in causing pain to animals. This early experience instilled in him terrible desires that only grew with time. In 1974, Rader made his first victim. He broke into the Otero family's home in Wichita, where he killed 2 adults and their 3 children. This crime marked the beginning of his dark career as a murderer. In this way, BTK gained its first portion of attention from the public. Rader didn't just kill, he liked to play games with the police. He sent letters in which he described his crimes and exchanged intellectual challenges with detectives. His crimes were particularly brutal. There were always elements of binding victims and mental terror. During the 1970s and 1980s, Rader committed at least 10 murders using his favorite tactics: binding, torturing, and murder. In his letters, the detail of the description of the murders was impressive. This testified to deep psychopathic inclinations. His last murder, which he committed in 1991, was very revealing. He killed a 62-year-old woman and then sent a letter to police detailing her murder. For many years, Rader remained on the loose, causing fear and wonder at the same time. But changes came when in 2004 he sent another letter to the police, taking part in the investigation. A few years later, thanks to new DNA technology, traces of his crimes began to be traced back to him. In 2005, after 30 years on the run from justice, Rader was arrested. During the investigation, he pleaded guilty to all the murders. His arrest came as a shock to the local community, who could not believe that their neighbor, a man with a good name, was a monster terrorizing the town. Rader's trial lasted several months. He received 10 life sentences without the possibility of parole. During the trial, he demonstratively described his crimes, which impressed both the jury and those present. The psychological portrait of Rader revealed at the trial testified to how inadequate and alienated from reality he was. In the last years of the trial, Rader began to show some remorse, but this could not change the fact of his actions. His personality continues to be studied by psychologists and criminologists. Now he is serving his sentence in a state prison. He is a dark legend for future generations. Dennis Rader's story is a reminder of how invisible monsters can exist right next to us. His crimes left deep wounds in the hearts of the victims' relatives, and also raised many questions about the nature of cruelty. Why can an ordinary person become a murderer? What factors influence the formation of such a terrible character? By investigating this horror, we are trying to understand how to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell so you don't miss new videos.